Welcome to Late Night at North Texas, live in the Syndicate. Suppose I should tell you a little bit about myself. Let's see here. Oh, well, I'm a broadcast journalism major. Oh, I saw a few people instantly relax. I get it. They're like, oh, she's in journalism. That's awesome. She has to be funny. News is a joke. How do we feel about getting to be on TV? Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm pretty excited about this Syndicate episode. Late Night is a TV show recorded here at UNT. We typically do about 3 episodes a semester, and they air on North Texas television, along with the most convenient and most popular streaming service, Vimeo. We actually went through the Vimeo archives a little while ago and found out that Late Night started by doing weekly live episodes here in the Syndicate. Yeah, weekly. It took us 2 months to practice for this 1-hour period. So I'm sure those graduates are just rolling in their graves. Don't worry though, you guys are in safe hands. Everybody knows that reboots are way better than the original. So I've actually been performing for a long time. I hadn't done much screen stuff until Late Night, however. I didn't think that was going to be very noticeable until a TV director came up to me after an audition here at UNT, and he was like, oh, you used to be a theater kid, right? I could tell. What a mean thing to say to someone. We actually have a little bit of contention with the theater kids here at UNT, just because we film in the same room, in the same building as the main theater stage. And then, of course, there's also the fact that theater kids think that media arts is a waste of a major, and media arts kids think that theater is a waste of a medium. Though, to any of us who want a job after college, we all know that they're both wastes of a degree. So I actually transferred to UNT from a very small private college. Small private colleges, by the way, very fun, because they get to come up with all their own rules. So it can be stuff like required in-person attendance during COVID, or let's shut down all student-run media, Russian mob style, or let's not make them pay for parking. God, I do miss that. Every year when I have to pay for the chance to park at UNT, I do think about going back. How bad was that 5-person, 1-bedroom dorm room really? Yeah. There was a little bit of a culture shift coming to UNT. A university my cousin once lovingly referred to as, quote, one keg stand gone right away from a verified party school, unquote. Look, I'm sure that there were crazy parties back at my old university. I was just too busy following the 10 p.m. curfew and doing the mandatory Bible study to notice. Well, my parents were a little bit worried about the transition, but I think they felt much more at ease once I was able to accurately inform them that my life really has not changed very much. I didn't tell them that that's because I discovered I'm really bad at consuming substances. Nobody wants to do drugs with you if you have to take a double dose of Flonase before every dose. No, it always goes a little something like this. Oh, after the football game, you guys are going back to your place and you're gonna like drink and stuff. If I have too much of any one liquid at a time, I get a really bad tummy ache, and I've already had 2 beers, so. Oh, smoke. The Fruity Pebble vape you were hitting during the 3rd quarter really inflamed my asthma, so. This is a joke, by the way. The scenario is fake. I would never go to a football game. Okay, slight sidebar. Dating in Denton as someone who is bad at drugs and double whammy, allergic to cats? Yeah, impossible. Why have all of the dog-loving lesbians committed hate crimes? Why is everybody boy who does not smoke against therapy. I just don't get it. I had to move to Louisville to be able to find 2 roommates who had credit scores and were willing to smoke outside. This town has a little bit of a type. Now, enough about you and more about me. A lot of people like to wonder, how did a transfer student become the host of Late Night so quickly? I do not find that question very interesting. However, the question of why, much more straightforward. Power. Now, not a lot of people like to hear that answer from a young lady in a suit with access to a microphone. That's how revolutions get started. But don't worry, don't worry. I, just like Dr. Doofenshmirtz, have a plan that's very achievable. First Vimeo, then Peacock, then the world. Yeah. I love hosting Late Night. It is a lot of work, though. It's very stressful. It's a lot of hours. Okay, so what goes into being the host of Late Night at North Texas? If you were to ask my producers, nothing. No. We have 2 producers, Andy and Carson. That's right. Yes. Late Night is very LGBTQ plus friendly because of our 2 gay dads. Yeah. Now, you could just call that a woke repackaging of the fact that we don't have any women in upper leadership. But don't worry, we're just following after the big Hollywood studios. There is Mary Alice, she's our assistant director. Woo! Yes, yeah. She's taking after Carson next semester. Late Night really said the future is female. I just hope they pay her the same amount of nothing that the boys get now. We also have Julia. She's our head writer. You could call that a leadership position. I wouldn't. It's more like herding a bunch of cats if the cats are 20-year-old boys with a grudge against SNL. All rising comedians have a grudge against SNL, by the way. It's because they weren't alive 30 years ago, so they think it was better back then. And they just know that they can bring it back to the glory days. They just also know, deep down, that they could never get on. So. I should also probably mention my co-host, Peter. Yes! Peter is my co-host and my opposite. I am happy, he is sad. I am salt, he is sugar. I am espresso, he is chamomile. I am like the reincarnation of Jay Leno, he's like funny. Yeah. His job is also much harder than mine. You aren't going to get to see the typical news monologue that we do today, though you'll see a version of it later with another one of our talent. Basically what happens is I read a pre-written, pre-approved monologue joke from the teleprompter, and then Peter has nanoseconds to come up with a witty ad-lib that makes the audience laugh and doesn't get us in trouble. So basically, his job is to be funny, and mine is to remember how to read. He does not have a lot of sympathy for me when I complain about being overworked. But there's a lot of words in the teleprompter sometimes. Speaking of that, we usually do this entire show with cheat sheets. We have teleprompters on the whole time. We're not doing that this episode. We had to have it fully memorized for the first time ever, which is sort of like, you know, deciding you can ride a tricycle and then signing up for the Tour de France because we commemorate it with inviting all of you here. But it's okay. I have complete faith in our cast and crew. I also have a back exit that I disabled the fire alarm to. None of you are invited. Seriously, though, we have a great show for you guys tonight. We have an interview with Laura Woodhill. We have our incredible band, Sun Valley Scarlet. We have games. We have sketches. We have so much more. So if you'll put your hands together with me for Late Night at North Texas, live in The Syndicate. Welcome back to Late Night at North Texas. So today we have a real treat for you. That's right, we have Laura Woodhill. She's gonna come on. She is the voice behind a lot of amazing anime characters, including young Midoriya from My Hero Academia. So if you guys will, once again, give a round of applause for Laura.
Peter.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your job? What is being a voice actor like?
It's getting to play in my PJs. I mean, there's a reason I chose to be behind the camera, behind the voices, and not doing what you're doing.
No, fair enough. The suit gets a little uncomfortable after a while.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. When
On and off and on and off. Yeah. I'm wearing it 4 times a day. It's like, I would love to do this in
Yeah,
my PJs.
sweatpants, PJs. I mean, working from home is kind of amazing.
I
so,
bet, yeah.
Being a voice actor, voice acting is a lot that people don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
Any commercial, any announcement you hear, you're on the phone waiting and you hear that, please press 1. That's all us. Voice acting is any audio that you can hear. And
Yeah.
especially with the pandemic, it sort of exploded. E-books came out more, e-learning was more in demand, anime was more in demand than ever, and it was a little bit harder to record because we couldn't go in studio, so they had to do a bunch of workarounds to figure out how are we going to record this with everyone at home.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, a lot of us got booths. They loaned out some equipment to some people, and they kept it going.
I did want to ask about that.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't watch a lot of anime. I know that's most of your
sorry.
work. Do you watch most of the stuff that you star in?
Not as much as I used to.
Okay. Well,
I did start off as a huge fan.
oh, of course.
I was definitely a fan turned professional.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I got my start. As I met Chris Sabat, if y'all know Vegeta, Dragon Ball Z. He came to my middle school
Oh, wow.
in 6th grade, and I walked up and said, "I want to do that." And then I thought was hot stuff, could mimic his characters really well.
Yeah.
Kami fired my Mr. Popo, and I was hooked.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
It's great. I was curious because as someone who doesn't watch a lot of anime, I'm always looking for a way to like get into it.
Oh, there's
I
some
was
good
wondering-
ones. Like,
yeah.
what kind of shows do you like?
I haven't really watched anything, I think, since Andor. I watched Andor when it came out on
No, I mean like
Disney.
any genre. Like
Any genre?
Regular shows. Like, what do you watch normally?
Oh, man.
If you have time
I
besides
don't watch a lot of
working,
stuff.
I was gonna say
That's my problem. Right?
working in the industry, you don't get a lot of time.
Right. No,
I mean,
exactly.
Because I was in y'all's shoes. I worked
Yeah.
at NTTV.
Wow,
so
that's really great.
No, that's right. You were the ops
Yeah.
manager,
I was
actually.
ops manager
for-
in 2011. So.
Yeah. Oh gosh. How does
When you're saying like,
Yeah.
I mean, late night didn't exist till I think it was the semester after I left.
Really?
So I was not involved in that. I mainly did news.
Okay, yeah.
But going back to yours, I mean, some good gateway ones. That's what we call it, gateway
Gateway,
anime.
of course, yeah.
If you like classic, it's Cowboy Bebop. My Hero Academia, not even saying because I'm in it, but
it's a good show.
It's got a good mix, good versus evil. It's got a lot of the archetypal stuff you see like in your normal like Marvel.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you like Marvel, I mean, it's got superheroes.
Gotcha.
It's just younger superheroes going through their angsty teens.
Right.
So
Just what I
Marvel
want to go
Jr.,
back into.
Marvel Jr.
Marvel Jr. Okay, that's a good way.
Yeah. You're in My Hero Academia, you're in Attack on Titan,
Yep.
you're in a lot of other things.
Yep.
But as somebody who, I'll out myself, is into anime, those have blown up, like not only in the anime space, but also kind of bleeding over into such normie spaces as Hot Topic.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's
Yeah.
all on Hot Topic
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I remember when it was like trying to find, you wanted a Sailor Moon shirt or Dragon Ball Z, it was like, you want what? You're a girl. It's like, so?
But what is it like walking into a Walmart and being able to find an action figure for a show you're on?
Especially now, really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you could order stuff before and you'd sneakily order and go, hee hee hee, or and you go to an anime convention and you go, do you have anything from One Piece? Well, yeah. I said, do you have anything of this character? Who? I'm like, this tiny little character that was like in these 3 episodes? Oh, wait, let me look.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes we'll look for the minute, but yeah, when you can get someone bigger, you start getting a little more merch, a little more publicity, and it's weird, because I'm still very much the fan in my head. see myself sitting on the other side of the table.
Well, sorry, I don't mean it. I'm curious, if you are a voice actor, it's not really your face that goes on that graphic tee or anything, but does it feel like you're walking in and seeing a picture of yourself on that shirt, or?
Occasionally, there is a little disconnect. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's not your face plastered all over, but you do grow attached to these characters, especially as the ones that have a little more story, a little bit longer of episode range. You do help to create those characters. I mean, we take the Japanese, we honor it as best we can. We sort of try to stay in the same voice range as well, and the scriptwriters really try to make sure they're as close to the scripts as can be. I mean, there's a few issues. Some of the jokes don't always translate when maybe it's a little bit of a hitch based on the syllables in the Japanese language that don't exactly fit. But yeah, I mean, we bond with these characters that, like, Deku's my baby. He's my little cinnamon roll.
So I guess moving a little bit to the business side, you've won several awards for your work. I know when people talk about Oscars, one of the reasons why, besides just the recognition that actors want Oscars, is they can charge more or they're offered more money. Does that have any effect for you?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
There you go.
No.
Is it still nice to like get that recognition and win those awards?
Yeah, because I mean, I wasn't even expecting to be nominated back then, and it's, let alone to win it. I mean, that was weird. It's like, I remember the one year that we won for Wolf Children, Jamie Lee Curtis was in the running, the same category I was, because she does a lot of Miyazaki.
Oh,
I beat her.
Okay.
I now beat an Oscar winner, but now she's got me. She's got Oscars.
Yeah. That's a pretty good like party fact, though. Like I beat Jamie Lee Curtis.
I beat
at
Oscar
something.
winner Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, can't really say that often.
Do you get to interact with a lot of different voice actors, particularly now, since I assume it's so much more from home?
Well, they're back in studio. Crunchyroll does have us all come in. We've got a big fancy place. They want us in there. Yeah, I mean, we overlap. We get a chance to talk in the green room or while we're fixing a coffee. Walla sessions, which is where they bring a group in and we do the background chatter, is a little more limited on who comes in. So it's not, I don't see as many different people as I used to. I'll see some of the same ones that we might all like the morning, or that's when our show's recording, because there's 2 periods. We record 10 to 6 or 6 to 10. So it's a long day if you have a couple shows going.
Lights, please. Fate, fortunes, and future things. The cards will tell you what tomorrow brings. Pick a card and listen me. Tarot things will come to thee.
What is all this about?
Robin said I could do my own segment, so I've invited all of you out here to learn your tarot.
Okay, well, do you know how tarot works?
This actually happens to be a hobby of mine. There's more to me than just a pretty face.
Okay, well then you should know you don't tell a tarot. You use the cards to gain insight into someone's past, present, or future.
I'm about to gain insight into your funeral if you don't let me have my moment.
Right, jeez.
I hear we are playing cards, so I come prepared. I am loaded and ready for action. What is the score?
This isn't a game. I'm gaining sweet insight. And we can't start until Jessie gets here.
Does Jessie like tarot?
I heard her talking to Robin about it with astrology one time, so I'm pretty sure she's probably into tarot.
I see what is going on. You're looking to pick up some dolls, huh? A couple of Judys?
What?
You know, pick a few tomatoes, a stack of pancakes.
No, it's not anything like that. I'm gaining sweet insight. We can't even search her just because it's here.
Most broads take great interest in such things.
Just cut it out, man.
Sorry, guys, I was just touching up in my dressing room. So, we're doing a segment?
Jake is reading tarot.
Oh, well, as a broad, I take great interest in such things.
You see, I am never wrong.
Okay, pipe down, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. Jessie, let's start with you. I'm sensing a great longing coming from your soul. Go ahead, choose a card.
Well, I have been feeling pretty lonely lately.
The cherry. This means chipper up. Don't be morose. You may fall for someone close.
Close. Do you mean like my coworker?
Closer.
My roommate?
Closer.
The coppers.
Okay.
Jake, that is not what the chariot means at all.
Okay, fine. Here's one for you, Dylan. Judgment. It means you're a buzzkill.
Jake, is this a Pokemon card?
I couldn't find a full deck, so I'd improvise.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
I did not come here for card tricks. Deal me in already.
Okay, there you go.
No, come on from here.
Now, what am I supposed to do with an Uno card, wise guy?
I think it means you and Jake switch places.
What? No, what, huh?
So it's our tarot, Grady.
Now, this is more like it. Miss Jessie, it is like this. The tower shows sudden changes will leave you devastated in the rubble. I see your dog yapping its last yap. Your tuition rising in costs, and your crops more than somewhat kaput.
That's awful. Is that true?
It is a sure thing.
Ralphie's gonna die? I'll be all alone with my dead crops and higher tuition? I don't think I like tarot very much.
But look, those two guys right there are on the level, which means you'll have someone by your side.
Are they closer than I think?
Sure.
Okay, stop. He clearly doesn't even know what he's talking about.
I don't know, Jake. He read all of that perfectly. He really knows his stuff.
That's impossible. Everybody knows that tarot isn't real.
Wait, you don't think this is real?
No one does. He's just ruining my chance to impress you. I'm telling you now, none of this is real.
Hey, Jake, I'm so sorry to interrupt. We just got a call. Your dog died. And they're raising your tuition.
My stars, and what of my crops?
Kaput.
I'm sorry, this can't be happening. I'm
Jake,
sorry, y'all.
it's fine.
Sorry
It's
about
just-
that, by the way.
Can't believe all those things you read were actually meant for Jake. Do you know what that means? Jake was in love with my roommate.
Most guys are considered very sensible before getting tangled up with a doll. Come on, let's get out of here.
The one I thought I won. Sitting in a shopping cart, wondering where I went wrong. Wrote down a list of things that I thought I knew. Your name was once there, so I'll burn it down. So I'm asking a question, pressing on my mind. Waiting for an answer, so just shut the door, close my eyes, and leave like you always do. Hold up. Y'all wanted a jazz band for this? The blood is on my hands. You're the one who pulled the trigger. Impressed by the shopping cart, going downhill with flat tires. 2 times for the right price, falling for the pressure. Tempting my heart while you disappear once more. So I victimized, terrified, waiting for an answer. So just shut the door, close my eyes, and leave like you always do. Petrified, demoralized, waiting for an answer. So just shut the door, close my eyes, I'll behave like you want me to. What's up, guys? We're Sun Valley Scarlet. We're the band for tonight. We have a QR code right here. We just released a new EP last week, so we're going to be playing those songs. Hope y'all enjoy.
the World Baseball Classic installed an espresso machine in their dugout for players during games. And they were reportedly loving it. I mean, what's not to love? They get to enjoy a drink and get a small energy boost. They did run into some problems when they started winning their games, though, and players weren't really paying attention to which drink and container they dumped on their coaches. Yeah.
I like that one. The CEO of TikTok was just recently grilled by the US Congress. When asked about the app's security issues, the CEO was always cut off before he could answer their questions. I guess the app really has ruined the old American attention span. Also, about 2 tons of ground beef was recalled from several states in the US Department of Agriculture, citing an E. coli infection. Many restaurants and grocery stores had to stop selling pounds of meat, which is good news for McDonald's because they didn't have to recall anything. I mean, besides their soft drinks. An AI-generated image of the Pope wearing a puffer jacket and jeweled crucifix blew up on Twitter last weekend. Some people who mistook it for a real image were outraged that the Pope would wear something so ostentatious. But it's drip or drown, and my boy walks on water.
A school principal in Florida was forced to resign after 6th graders were shown a Michelangelo statue depicting nudity as part of an art history lesson. I mean, I don't really get the big deal. Of course he's naked, he's a turtle.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what I get.
A Washington woman made news recently for tracking her AirPods to an airport worker's home after realizing she left them on a plane after a flight. Now, I'm no airplane girl, but that's a weird place to park it. Use a hanger, I mean, come on. The Museum of Failure, a museum dedicated to bad ideas and failed products, opened last week in Brooklyn. Featured exhibits include the Segway, lawn darts, and the American Experiment. The Loch Ness Monster has seemingly vanished after no reported sightings for the past 4 months. We've reached out to their long-term friend and close associate, Bigfoot, to see if they have any inside whereabouts on where Nessie is. Peter, you heard from Bigfoot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What did they say?
All he had to say was, just
If we're gonna have a main character, I think it's very important to help the culture progress with our choice, while having someone bold.
I totally agree, Dylan, which is why I nominate Jake.
Are you joking?
Well, well, well. A new challenger. My agent told me that somebody with the same style but a much more symmetrical face might try and encroach on my territory.
Well, you have your challenger.
Long have I dreaded this day.
Hey, don't forget to consider me as your funnier best friend who will eventually go on to do bigger, better things.
We need someone with no dog in this fight to decide who the real main character of Late Night is going to be. Dylan, could you help us out? It seems that we're at a bit of an impasse.
It's impasse.
One of my charms as the main character is lowering my intelligence and making dumb mistakes so that the audience feels seen and better than me at the same time.
Well,
But what if Jake's charms is actually being able to read?
23% of men in their 20s struggle with learning disabilities. I'm being relatable while also bringing attention that the authors never have to confirm. You don't want to rob our audience of that, would you?
Dylan, can you settle this?
well, the very important thing about being a main character is having some kind of inner conflict that helps motivate you when presented with the plot.
Oh, right, like how you just moved to town, you're trying to see if you have what it takes to follow your dreams while working through your issues with your grandmother's passing.
That actually sounds really compelling. You sound really interesting, Dylan.
Yeah, I know.
Jake, what kind of inner conflict do you have that could help for the late night sketches?
My parents got divorced when I was like 10, and that still really affects me to this day.
Oh, and she's so relatable to the general audience, right?